cultivate gratitude on a healing journey, whether it's been with a karmic, with a twin flame that dragged you through hell and made you face yourself, or with a soulmate, or if you're just going through a breakup. It can be incredibly difficult when coming to terms with the lessons that you have learned. Now, some of these lessons you signed up for, some of them came as a surprise. Now, on a twin flame journey, or if you've just been in some sort of a situationship, how can you begin to cultivate gratitude for that? Because it's not easy. It's not easy. But you have to start with the small things, because when you take care of the small things, the big things take care of themselves. Especially in a twin flame journey, I think one of the hardest things is coming to a place of gratitude on this journey, because it's a journey. So one of the things that you can cultivate gratitude for is gratitude for the awareness itself of what you have come to learn and come to understand about yourself, about the world, and about the journey itself. Now, you don't have to do anything big, and I know being grateful for this painful connection can be very difficult. And in my workshops, we cover ways in which we can shed gratitude on the painful patterns and the wounds and the dynamics it brought forth from your unconscious, subconscious awareness, and how it made healing at all possible. One of the most important things that you can be grateful for on this journey, which is really hard, I know, is gratitude for being reshaped. Now, I know a lot of you find it incredibly difficult to remember the past version of yourself, because you are purified, you are cleansed through your spiritual awakening, to your activation. Giving gratitude for the awareness and the reshaping of who you are becoming and who you have become through this journey, through this purification, through the triggers, because the healing definitely changes your standards, and it changes your level of sensitivity, changes your trajectory, changes your entire lifestyle, right? So being grateful for losing that part of your identity, the pain, and the integration of that pain, the integration of all the lessons after that, right? Because the gratitude is when you start appreciating the person that you are becoming as part of the journey, as part of the process. And I know it's not easy when you haven't accepted things, when you haven't come to terms with things, especially if you're freshly initiated into the journey. I know that, like, if you're like a year or two into it, it can be incredibly challenging to cultivate that gratitude. But I promise you, if you were to look at your current version of yourself now versus the version of yourself that you were before, you'd be completely unrecognizable. Another thing you can be grateful for is more of a higher spiritual teaching, and that's the cultivation and the inner knowing and the understanding of the polarity you're holding, and the appreciation for the existence of the beautiful and the ugly, the hard and the easy, the apples and oranges, the reds and the blues, right? Because cultivation of all of that is underpinning the whole understanding of the deeper spiritual teachings of light and darkness, of good and bad, of everything that is in polarity in existence, right? And it's not holding evidence for both things means you can have moments of appreciation and moments of feeling the pain, the heartbreak, the abandonment, the regret, the remorse, the guilt, the stubbornness, whatever it is that was brought forth during your journey. in your relationship, or as part of the triggers that you faced, right? And part of that is applying yourself and feeling the grief so you can correctly move through the stages of healing. Because if you don't feel, I promise you it's going to chase you. It's going to come with vengeance, right? And still noticing that as part of your emotional maturity, and not to override the emotions of grief, of sadness. Another thing you can do is don't weaponize any part of your journey and stick to it with so much of that, whatever the word for that is. Just don't stick to it. If you're having a rough moment, allow yourself to feel it, because when you allow yourself to feel, you can gain an appreciation for that and then move on to the next thing, right? Because you can't continue to find the lessons within the lesson unless you allow yourself to feel it and respect the phase that you're in, as well as allowing the gratitude to come more naturally as a process of you allowing and feeling and letting go and surrendering. Because this next phase of everything that is unfolding is going to require you to be way more present, way more developed, way more mature in your processes, way more self-knowing, right? Because what's happening has just started. Whether that's more on a personal level or on an astronomical level on the worldwide stage, it has just started, you guys. And sooner or later you're going to find yourself being the pillar of light that another person needs or requires, and it's going to come naturally to you. It's not going to be a big mission. It's going to be a quiet moment in a cafe or with a stranger, having a conversation that will expand the whole world, especially on a true twin flame journey. If you are on one, you know you are. I think that's enough for me today.